don't know, like the syrupy remains.
Maybe. I can't think of any puns either, so fair enough.
A ship in syrup? I guess, I don't know. The jury wasn't buying it and the evidence was overwhelming. And every time the defense tried to spin the narrative, the prosecution hit back with another pile of receipts. Literally. Dodgy payments, shady invoices, and witnesses that blew holes in every excuse the defense threw out. So what's the takeaway? Maybe don't try and pull off a heist if your only defense is the rules were too hard. Sounds like everything when it comes to finances, though. Meanwhile, the Federation was scrambling to pick up the pieces. They'd been rinsed for millions of dollars and made to look like absolute dickwads. Publicly, they played it cool, blaming the criminals and going into damage control by cranking up security and talking big about how they wouldn't let this happen again. Yada yada. But let's be real. They looked like they were caught with their pants down. The heist didn't just hit the Federation's reputation. It sent shockwaves through the entire maple syrup industry. Prices soared, and the market, of course, reacted to the sudden shortage. Producers had to scramble to meet rising demand from the giant black hole left from the heist, whilst the Federation had to implement stricter security measures and revise their storage protocols to prevent future thefts.
It's not very helpful.
It's not very helpful, Kuda. Anyway, these measures, by the way, even included tracking mechanisms on the syrup. It was a wake-up call that even the sweetest industry wasn't immune to crime. This incident forced the Federation to rethink their strategies, leading to increased transparency and collaboration with producers to rebuild trust and stabilize the market. When the dust settled, Richard Villares, Raymond Villares, Avec Caron, and Antoine St. Pierre faced serious charges. Richard, as the ringleader, got the biggest hit. 8 years in prison and a whopping $9.4 million fine. The court basically said, mate, if you can steal millions in syrup, you can pay it back. He was given 10 years to pay up or face another 6 years in prison. Avec, he got 5 years for his part of being the inside man and fined $1.2 million. Old Raymond copped 6 months and fined nearly $10K. And Antoine St. Pierre, with his black market empire, wasn't exactly left off the hook either. They made him pay up over $1 million in fines, which is a lot of pancakes worth of syrup. He received a sentence of 2 years minus a day of house arrest, along with 3 years probation. Because of his cooperation and crucial testimony, Jutras, our flipped pancake, received a relatively light sentence of only 8 months in custody. So in the end, this gang of dodgy blokes didn't just steal syrup. They left a massive dent in the industry. The Federation lost millions, the cops spent ages piecing it together, and the public, well, the great Canadian maple syrup heist became a full-blown cultural phenomenon. We're talking documentaries, news headlines, a Netflix episode, and even a Prime mini-series, which is due to drop next month. People couldn't get enough of this ridiculous heist. It captured the public's imagination, turning what seemed to be a quirky crime into a symbol of rebellion against corporate control.
Good. Yeah, man.
It's been years since the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist, but the story lives on as a reminder of just how far people will go when there's sweet cash on the table. I mean, if this whole ordeal taught us one thing, it's that even outside of cozy cabins and pancakes, crime can get real sticky. This isn't... Ooh,
in trouble.
So you might think that after all the arrests and those hefty fines, the story ends there. But guys, like any good heist, there are a few loose ends. The Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist didn't just leave empty barrels behind. It left a bunch of theories and a few sticky questions that still have people scratching their heads. This wasn't just good guesswork. It was well organized, almost too organized for a gang working almost completely from the outside. One of the most pressing questions is, where did all the missing syrup go? The cops recovered some of it, but a huge chunk of it vanished. Where's the rest? Is it sitting in some dodgy warehouse somewhere waiting to flood the market again? Is it quietly slipping into legitimate supply chains with buyers none the wiser? Next time you pour syrup on your pancakes, have a think. You might be tasting a little piece of Canada's biggest crime. And then there's the question of insider involvement. Could there have been individuals within the actual Federation who helped in the heist? The operation scale and position suggest that the sticky bandits could have had inside information, more than that of Abbott Caron, who really only just owned the warehouse the Federation used. But what about the Federation itself? Another theory revolves around the potential for a larger criminal network. Was this heist an isolated incident? Or was it part of a bigger scheme involving other high-value items? Or, drugs? The sophistication of the operation, or at least the planning, and not the execution, suggests the possibility of experienced criminals undertaking similar heists